comes down to it, safety is the bottom line for this. When you're working, your life is literally on the line here. And for Kathy to put this on and bring it to the level that it's at is amazing. It's up in the game for safety and efficiency in the business. My name is Jonathan Minks, and I am your host.
We have a few accidents from year to year within the tower industry. Much of these accidents are preventable. But this is another opportunity for us to bring a lot of our industry together and share, not with just only day-to-day operations, but rescue skills, safety concepts, job risk analysis. All of that goes into what we do here at the rodeo. This is Dale Stewart, the lead judge for Tower Rodeo 2022.
We have some of the best climbers in the world here to compete against one another, and now we're adding the fastest climber. Now these guys will get the recognition as the fastest climber and the fastest rescue team. So who's going to be the best in the world? See you guys at Tower Rodeo. My name is Kathy Gill. I am the owner of Tower Safety. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Tower Rodeo.
To the Tower Rodeo Challenge, TRX 2022. We're here at the Tower Safety Telecommunications Training Facility in Phoenix, Arizona, and if you work at height, you don't want to be anywhere else in the world right now. This is a fun challenge over 2 days of tower safety work. Let's see how the teams do, but today is the first day. There's going to be an ultimate challenge, and we're going to jam-pack all of this into 1 day of live streaming for you. So today, let's pick up the challenges, see how teams do, and who makes it to the semifinals and finals on the second day. Before the action begins, our teams will need to go through a 20-minute safety orientation where our head judges walk the teams through each challenge and prep them on the things they'll be looking for. Keep in mind that safety is number one, and if our judges see anyone putting safety at risk, they will be automatically disqualified. We have our national anthem coming up shortly, but while our teams are being debriefed, let's go over how the Tower Rodeo Challenge works and meet our contestants. Our camera team is going to start with what goes up, goes down, then to Lucky Duck. But we'll be bouncing around the Tower Safety Facility with the teams and getting you all the coverage of the 2022 TRX Challenge. At each station, we will be highlighting a different team going through the challenge, and we'll have our judges on site to analyze and break down each performance. Everyone will have their 10 minutes of fame, and at the end of the 7 rounds, our top 4 teams will move into the semifinals. It's going to be a jam-packed day, filled with high stakes and high risk, learning opportunities, and most important, practicing safety. Let's get to it. But first, let's meet our teams and see who we have competing in today's challenges. Team 1 is Mika Rush and John Birch from Peak Rescue. Team 2, John Bailey and James Murphy, who placed second last year. Team 3 is Dylan Hartzell and Nick Nuttall from Tri-County Tower. Team 4, Nicholas Rybeck and Anthony Magolis from Spectra, Inc. Team 5, Michael Kreider and Anthony Kreider from Appalachian Towers. Team 6 is Jeffrey Sayer and John Hott of STG Communications. And Team 7, Cody Garrison and Robert Moulter from Dan Combs Consulting. All right, so right now the teams have gotten their safety instructions and been introduced to each of the challenges. So now they're doing last gear checks, and then we're going to get started here. I believe we'll have the national anthem come up here in just 1 minute, and then we're off to the rodeo. Hey, we're going to be right back, right after a word from our sponsor. All right, we need to give a shout out to all the Tower Rodeo sponsors who help make this championship possible. Their support aids us in spreading safety awareness and inevitably saving lives. We'd like to tip our hats to you. Petzl, Skylotech, Beckingham Manufacturing, Elk River, Ronin Lift, Rescue Tech 1, Kong USA, Perfect Vision, Tuffelberger, Tower Safety, AHS Rescue, and ASK Tower Supply. You all are helping to save lives, and we thank you for it. Thanks for coming to the Tower Rodeo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I'll show you what we got over here.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to start the 2022 Tower Rodeo Challenge. Up first is What Goes Up, Goes Down. This challenge is called What Goes Up, Goes Down. The challenge rules are as follows. To complete this task at this station, challengers have 30 minutes. Challengers shall raise or lower the suspended dummy to the next highest cross bracing and even with the center bolts. Challengers shall always keep the load secured. All rigging equipment used to lift or lower must be off the tower and with only the dummy suspended. In this challenge, there are 25 possible points. There are 2 judges per event, and scores are averaged to provide the official score. Each judge has 12.5 points. Points are based on, number 1, judges scoring, 2, dynamic and safe rigging, and 3, safe climbing, teamwork, and planning, and lastly, communication. Each team will be deducted points for poor teamwork, no communication, or dropped items. This includes the dummy. Points are earned for fair, good, or exceptional performance, and no points are earned for unsafe acts or unprofessional behavior. If challengers reach the time limit and have not finished the event or said done, they will not receive any time points and will receive scoring points accumulated only up to the 30-minute time allowed. This is a fun one, incorporating rescue. Let's see how the teams do. I'm here with Dale Stewart of AHS Rescue, owner, operator of AHS, and my employer. But we're going to be going into commentary. Dale, thanks for being here. He is the head judge. How do you feel today so far?
I'm still feeling pretty Spartan, John. I think that the competition is at the highest I've seen it. Last year was pretty pinnacle. This year we have back some competitors that are unbelievable.
Definitely, definitely. And a couple newbies. How do they look? You had a chance to talk to them quickly?
Their gear's looking used and pretty wore out, but they're still got it across the safety finish line, so they're heading for the towers.
Now, as you were checking the gear, I noticed a couple items were taken out of their bags.
Yeah, I had to ixnay a couple of pieces of equipment because, again, safety is our first concern and priority. Functionality of all of our carabiners, our work positioning lanyards, our tie back hooks, all of that has to work correctly the first time, every time. When I find something during our inspections that doesn't function correctly, it needs to be disqualified. Ooh, and that's what we did. We had 3 pieces today out of the 7 groups that had issues.
Not too bad. Okay.
Not too bad.
Yeah. So we're looking at the events in a wide view as they go. Dale, if you have commentary on what you're seeing as they get ready and start the first challenges here.
So with everybody that climbs towers or any apparatus for that matter, whether it's a monopole or whatnot, you have the distinct opportunity to get in trouble. So if you fall on your shock absorbing lanyards, or you get a pass out from a syncope, you have issues on the tower, you get sick, then you get hung up there. At some point in time, there has to be an effective rescue plan. By OSHA compliance, we have to have not only a JHA job safety analysis prior to the activities, but we also have to have a rescue plan that should be written and documented prior to actually climbing these towers. So once that's been done, what happens is they're tasked with going up these towers and capturing this individual that's unconscious.
I know you're watching the judges as well as they point things out. Well, right there. So
we're real sensitive about all of our knots, how they're tied. They got to be tied correctly. They need to be dressed, and they need to be set. One of the things about the tower safety rodeo is about upping everybody's game for safety and awareness for our technology that we're using today.
And I've noticed, you know, rope work is where a team might gain an advantage in time. Certainly, we've had a team in the past that really just didn't know the knots that they needed to do or the rigging that they needed to do. I seem to see that rope rigging is where a team can gain a time advantage, really.
In truth, we've been building stuff across the planet for years on scaffolding and cranes and scissor lifts and the like. The last 20 years here in America, Spratt has come along and have given us new tools, new equipment that makes our jobs not only safer, but more efficient. And so we're starting to see a lot of companies that use scaffold work to get into hard to access places. We're starting to use Spratt techniques for ascending, belaying, with ratchet captures, IDs, clutches, maestros. All kinds of new technology has made this much safer and more efficient. Looks like they're just about ready to get ready to climb. They're putting on a cable grab right now. All of this equipment was inspected prior to. You see how easy that was? That's a sign of a seasoned technician when he can flow that on there to that cable and he's on his way. If you see somebody stumbling and fumbling and struggling to get that on, that's a clue that he's got some ways to go. He's moving right along. He's kicking ass, taking names. And he's got his taglines. He's got 3 lines or 2 lines. He got 3 lines. So they've got to go up and figure out how to get that individual that's passed out in the center of that standalone structure, and they need to lift him up off of his system and put him on his. We call that breaking into his line. Once we can get him up far enough off of the system that he's hanging on, we take over and disconnect him off of his system. We have him on our system. We'll have 2 ropes, a primary point and a secondary point of safety, and then they can lower him down to the ground. So what the ground crew has done right at this point in time is they've done a little house cleaning. They've taken their lines and they've strung them out so that they're organized and ready to deploy. You don't want any knots or bends or kinks coming into your adjuncts such as your friction devices. The judges outside are looking for things like single point connections. They're always supposed to be on 2 points 100% of the time. So as they climb up on their lad safe, their cable grab, they get to the top, they need to have a fall protection with a hook. You can see that he's slung it over here with a large scaffold hook. He's putting a second point on so that he can come off of his cable grab. Once he does that, because he's leaning out like he is on his arm, he is not really positioned on his feet, so we don't consider that a solid point. So now he has to put on a second point so he can transition off of his cable grab. Good, so he's got 2 points, 2 hooks, he's off. Now he can go down to 1 point and start traversing the structure. The challenge that he's going to have is how does he get out here and actually get a rope attached to his victim is another part of that challenge. Looks like he's got 2 tiebacks, 2 points. He's working and leaning out on his work positioner, which is good. He's good, safe connections. The victim is clearly ambulatory, unconscious, uncooperative, and the challenge is getting over here, connecting to him, bringing him up enough to disconnect him off of the system that he was put on originally. So it looks like they've changed up their plan, their rigging plan a little bit midstream, and are repositioning the pulley. So that's going to cost them a few points along the way. Obviously, when we're rigging, we want to rig one time. So now it looks like he's got a safety connection on the right side of the tower. You can see his primary anchor with the pulley that's going to carry the rope. He's got a second backup on the tower. These are called scaffold hooks, ladder hooks, and they are built to go around wide-angled structures on towers. Sometimes you can turn around and tie them back on themselves if you have a tie back, which is like a little loop in the middle of it. He does not, so he has to use straps, which is still an acceptable standard. Now he's trying to traverse across. What he needs to do is fix that line down on the ground, on the top of the tower actually. He needs to fix that line, and then if he was going to rig it to where he can lift him off of where he's currently positioned, he needs to probably build a small mechanical advantage, an MA as we call it, a force multiplier. For us, we used what we call a drop loop 2-to-1 to bring him up. Looks like he's now trying to get himself adjusted to the inside of the tower. As you can see, it's pretty awkward. You have to be somewhat limber and certainly good shape. Being in good health and good shape is going to be an asset. Now, as he's leaning out on his that tower like that, we don't consider his feet being a point. If he's standing up and hanging on, that's a point. But when he leans out, that's why he has to have 2 points of connection. He would be dinked on the safety otherwise. Now it looks like he's going to work his work positioner and lower out so he can reach out and get a line on him. Oh, it's going to be quite the reach. I know that it's a pretty good reach out there to the center of that standalone.
So back with Dale on this challenge, Dale. These guys have had a hard time with this, and he can't get that off. What's going on here?
So here's the fact of it is that he needs to have an artificial high direction above him so he can put a force multiplier, a mechanical advantage, 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. Off that high point, he can come down here and attach it to that victim and draw that victim up and easily disconnect him. However, he did not do that, and now he's got himself to where he's manhandling to get him off that pulley. Now, as soon as he lets that go, that victim's going to swing. There's no place for him else to go because he didn't have a tagline on him, and then he's only got 2 techs.
He was struggling with that for quite a while.
Absolutely. It was...
he didn't unweight the victim.
He didn't unweight the victim so he could disconnect him. So when I told you before that we break into a victim's line, yep, we bring him up off of his system, bring him onto ours, make sure he has a second point on, and then we DC his system. It would have been easy. However...
DC?
Disconnect.
Disconnect.
So, however, he was manhandling him, and he had him on a single point. As soon as he picked him up enough, he's only 150 pounds. And this is what we want to try to teach at Tower Safety, is how to do things safer and more efficient and smarter.
Smarter, simple, right?
Keep it simple.
Unweight the victim. That's the first step of that, is getting that point above the victim.
Yes, an artificial high direction so he can actually lift him up off of his system. As you see here, for us to put that mannequin in place, we did a little 2-to-1 drop and pull it back up. That's our force multiplier, or mechanical advantage. Mm-hmm. And then this other rope simply puts him back into the center of the tower. So we can pull him up on one and bring him back with the other, pull him up on one, and then you keep working him in that position. Same thing to get a guy down out of that condition. You have to have 3 points connected on him so he doesn't swing violently into the tower.
How much do these dummies weigh?
Oh, that one's about 165 pounds, plus harness and the like. So it's not a piece of cake. It's difficult to work any load up in the air at all. So this is why we've created so many different tools to overcome these problems.
Yep. And
The idea is that you not only can control his lift and bring him onto your system, but you control his descent. We have a target down on the ground where we want you to place him. So it's not just a willy-nilly slugfest. It's controlled.
It's a huge point. None of this is willy-nilly. They are not just winging it here. There's a way to do this, and it has to be done correctly. We don't want to beat up the victim. Thank you. Awesome.
Now, I will talk about safety. He's got, looks like 2 hooks on, okay. See, he's also leaning back in his work positioning. That's kind of not a real good position to see always. If he only had one connection, I would call safety on him. You cannot sit back on your a single point lanyard like that.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Certainly.
Let's check in with our climbers outside and hear how they think the challenge went. All right, guys. Good job. You're rocking it today. Does it feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah? When you guys were on the what goes up goes down, right?
Yeah.
How'd that feel? What was going on there?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. We could have done some things differently, but I think we did all right.
Yeah?
We got them down to the ground.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we got him down. We got a little bit of a late start because of the audio issue, but
Yeah, I know. And is it feeling good? Are you liking the rodeo so far?
Love it.
yeah,
I love
that's
it.
great.
Yeah. It's an interesting challenge, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I love what Kathy does. Her training class is unrivaled, and she's just one of a kind person. And you know, you get so much more than just a certification out of here. You get knowledge, experience, and rigging, and everything. I think it's it should be a mandatory class for tower climbers, in my opinion.
Awesome. What's up next? What's your next challenge?
We're gonna be rescuing
On the monopole.
Saving a dummy.
Saving a dummy.
saving a dummy.
All right, don't get hurt. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Good job. All right, after the first challenge, here are the current standings. We got Team 7 with Cody and Robert from Dan Combs Consulting in an early lead. But remember, it's still too early to call since not all these challenges have the same point value system. We might get a dark horse coming in at the last minute. Teams 1 and 2 are neck and neck, which just goes to show you how crucial every little point is. Only a 0.5 point difference between second and third place right now. Okay, and it's time for our teams to move along the course to their next challenge. This round, we'll be taking a closer look at the Lucky Duck Challenge. It might be one of the more difficult challenges at the rodeo this year. The bucket of water is heavier than it seems, and it's got ducks in it. Let's see how they do. This is called Lucky Duck. This is a fun challenge. They have 30 minutes to do the following. 1. Ascend a 40-foot tower with a Ronin. 2. Lower the ducks into the water-filled tool bucket located at the base of the tower. 3. Judges will randomly blow a horn, and the ducks cannot free fall. 4. Yell done when their time is completed. There are 25 possible points, and the scores are averaged to provide the official score. Points are based on the following. 0 to 25 ducks in the bucket equals 5 points. 26 to 50 ducks equals 10 points. 51 to 100 is 15 points. Each team will be deducted 5 points for each duck dropped. Ducks that do not land safely into the tool bucket do not count as a point. Points are earned for the following. 1. Safe ascending, descending, and rigging. 2. Safe lowering of ducks. And no points are earned for any unsafe acts according to OSHA ANSI standards and an unprofessional behavior based on the rule book. If challengers reach the time limit and have not finished the event or yelled done, they will not receive any time points and will receive only the points accumulated before the 30-minute mark. This one has no room for quackery. This is all about safe and efficient rigging. here with Russ, who's one of our lead technicians and judges here. So we're looking at the competition Lucky Duck. Now this is a crazy competition. Anytime you add ducks, water, and rope, things aren't going to turn out well. But what are we seeing here? You got any pointers here?
So what we're looking at right now is one of the sponsors, Run and Rescue, provided a mechanical ascender, a battery operated ascender. So what we've done is we've sent someone up on a rope. They're going up there, and we have some buckets that are filled full of water and some rubber ducks. The idea is using some technique and finesse is to be able to load a bunch of rubber ducks that float in a bucket of water up about 35 to 40 feet, and try not to cause any of the ducks to fall out or to lose any of them. So the idea is to run all the bucket up, maintain as many of them inside, as much water inside. Once it gets up to the top, they send it back down, and we start counting the number of ducks that they're able to maintain in their bucket. So the idea is trying to do some finesse so that when the tower industry is working on high dollar equipment and there's a bunch of little tiny parts and nuts and bolts and screws and screwdrivers and everything that they have to maintain control of, it kind of gives the idea that using that finesse so that we don't drop equipment.
When you're 60 feet above the other guy, don't drop a wrench. That's kind of the idea here.
That is a good idea.
Yes.
It's a good safe practice.
And this is not using a Ronin. They're doing this by hand?
So they are hauling by hand, and hopefully they have what we call a progress capture in there, because when the test comes and they have to let go of everything,
right.
We're hoping not to drop buckets of ducks anywhere.
And that's what I was explaining before about why we're blowing the whistle and calling hands off. Because exactly what I was saying, you can imagine there'd be ducks all over the ground. A terrible sight. Although,
it's great if you're a duck hunter.
Dinner.
But not so much in the rescue.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you, Russ. Good stuff.
You're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We haul tools up and down towers all the time. So if that's 50 pounds of tools and he's taking it up and you blow that whistle right now, what's going to keep those tools from coming down?
That's right.
You know, people pass out from time to time. People have aneurysms. They have strokes. All kinds of things. But all of a sudden, he drops the rope.
And the answer to the question is progress capture.
Capture that load before it grounds out. So in this particular instance, I would expect him to put the ratchet capture up at the top so that when he accidentally let go of the rope, for instance, that'd catch the ducks. Of course, my ducks are precious to me, and I don't want any of my ducklings to get hurt.
So it's time to pluck them.
Until it's time to pluck them, yes. So he's doing a good job hand over hand. There seems to be a lot of ducks, and they're kicking my ducks around on the floor, so it's all good and fine.
Yeah, however, right, but how many? All right, we're going to head outside, and then we're going to just talk with the challengers, see where they're at in this. It's a lot about keeping your head in the game. All right, I'm here with Robert and Cody, and you guys were just on Lucky Duck, right? That's what we saw.
That's correct.
And how did that go for you? Did you like it?
It was tiring. I wish it was the last event.
That one's wearing you out, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like more than a lot of the events, even where there's more involved rigging and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's just pure forearm strength, really. Forearm and grip strength.
That's a tough one. I think that's what it's designed to do, is get you just worn out, and I think it levels the playing field in a number of ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. You having fun overall, though?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm having lots of fun.
All right, guys. Get a rest, get a drink of water. You've got about 7 minutes left of a break, so go for it. All right, we were at about the halfway mark today on the first day of the challenge, and we just want to check in on the scoreboard with Dale, our head judge here. And what are we seeing, Dale? Because these numbers are going all over the place, as we can see.
So if you look at the 230 and the other points along here, you have a 230, 23.0 and a 20. 0.0 and an 18. Those three competitors are pretty dang close. And again, first place here, considering they've only had 3 events, 230, these people were flawless. This team was absolutely on their game on the duck event. They didn't lose not one of my ducklings, not one. So that got them pretty high in the scoring here. And then the A team, what I would have thought would have been right on top of them or ahead of them, actually slid behind because they dropped a lot of ducks. As a matter of fact.
That's Mika and John up here. We got Cody and Robert just coming out ahead because of that duck and the monopole rescue, which I don't think Mika and John have got to yet, so we'll see where that goes. But it looks like our winners from last year are behind by 3 points right now.
Which is surprising to see at this early in the game. They should have been well ahead of.
What was bringing them back? Because
I watched Mika and his team do some rigging, and they fell a little short on their safety. We did ratchet up the contest this year, made it more difficult, more rigging than we had last year. But for a team like Micah, they just made some shortcuts and got called on safety. Things where they got below their lanyards below their waist, that we had to call them on it.
all right.
And that shows in their points.
Right? And in third place, it's Dylan and Nick here. I'm sorry. It's team 5. That's Dean and Jeff, and at 18.5 points. They obviously nailed the aerial lift with Mika and John right behind them. So it's pretty much anybody's game as we go through the last, but obviously Team 7 is out in the lead right now with pretty significant lead over everybody except maybe Mika and John and Team 1 who is right on their tails.
Team 2 had better step up their game if they plan on taking first place, which they took place last year first place as well.
Yeah,
so they're quite a bit points behind.
All right.
Should be
we'll see where this goes
interesting
from
to see how
here.
this goes.
Yeah, this is fun.
All right.
Good. Here we are. I'm here with Kathy, who put on this whole thing. Kathy, how's it going so far?
It's going well. The athletes are getting a little tired. You can see the strain on them, and we're making sure they stay safe. That's the biggest thing.
And that's great. 2 challenges down, no problems. This is going well. Lucky Duck has turned into like a total workout for them.
I know.
They're working on that one. Is that what you designed it for?
We worked on that. Yeah, so most of them all have rigging on them because Tower Safety is creating a RAT course for rigging, ropes and rescue rigging.
Right.
So this way when we're out here, they're learning more rigging challenges, and that's where you're seeing the problem is rigging. And you see it like, hands off, right?
Yeah.
And how many things have dropped?
Right.
Right, we don't want to drop the loads. If it's a precious antenna, an expensive piece of equipment, you don't want drop loads.
Right.
Yeah.
You are getting more of a workout than anybody here. You should see her on it. You look on the sideline. She's running over there. She's running over there. I mean, you're doing everything. It's incredible. This is the 3rd year. What's different? What's working better? What's not so far?
So what I'm seeing this year, opposed to the other years, is I'm making more difficult challenges, making it so they have to think outside the box. So if this is your box in rigging, let's think outside of it. Let's push the boundaries and keep it safe at the same time. So I'm seeing these athletes actually learn new skills. So we've had a couple of them come back from previous years, and they're learning that from the previous years we don't drop the load, so we've learned this new skill. We've learned the new knots. We've learned our MAs.
Super important.
Yeah, so they're advancing well with the different challenges as it keeps going on year after year.
Good.
Their skills are going up.
And overall in the competition, do you think it's clean? Is it working?
It's working.
I mean, it seems to be to me. It's going really smooth.
They're going to sleep well tonight.
Yes, they are.
They are working hard.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes till the next competition.
Thank you.
Be back with you in a second. Coming up to challenge number 3, monopole rescue. This is the monopole rescue. The challenge rules are simple. Complete the task, you got 30 minutes. Number 1, the patient has cold stress at 60 feet and needs to be brought down safely without the 110-pound dummy hitting the monopole. Number 2, say done when completed. There are 25 possible points. Each judge will have 12.5 points allotted. Points are based on judges' scoring, safe climbing, techniques, and progress capture. And let me elaborate on that. Points are really for safe climbing and progress capture and safely bringing the mannequin into the shark's mouth at the base on a 2-rope system. Points for communication, like 911 call, patient assessment. Challengers choose the medical issue they want. Operating as a team with radio communication. The teams will receive a deduction of points for failing to be OSHA or ANSI compliant and receive deductions for anything dropped. Points are earned for fair, good, or exceptional performance, and no points are earned for unsafe acts or unprofessional behavior. If the challengers reach the time limit and have not finished the event, or have not said done, they will not receive any time points and will receive only scored points accumulated up to the 30-minute mark. This is about communication and rescue. It's really all about getting that patient down and communicating that patient's needs. So we're here with Dale again on the monopole rescue. This is Micah and John. They're rescue technicians from Wyoming. This is where they should shine, really.
This is because they have been doing this for years and years, but more interesting is that they come here with a toolbox full of tools. They're SPRAT technicians, and that means Society Professional Rope Access technicians for work at height. So that gives them the opportunity and the edge over tower people with all kinds of different ways that they can manipulate their loads. So Mika is up on the tower at this point in time, and he's rigging it up a high point so that he can attach a mechanical advantage or a force multiplier to the actual victim so he can lift him off of his system. We call that breaking into his lines. Once we have him on our system here, then we can DC him on his system, off of his system, and then send him back down. We always want 2 points of contact with both the rescue technician as well as the victim themselves. So all this equipment that you see, like these ASAP locks, for instance, and these scaffold hooks, this is all backup emergency stuff so that if something goes wrong with their primary or main rope fails, then that ASAP lock picks them up.
Both of them are caught, no matter what.
Yeah, Petzl has done a wonderful job with that design.
Yeah, definitely. That is an awesome piece of gear.
There's not a lot of things to do for the guy on the ground except wait until he's ready to lower him down. At that point, he could tag him out with a tag line to keep him from running or pushing up against the pegs. It should be pretty easy to lower that victim down once he actually takes him off his system and breaks into it.
Multiple points of contact. Thanks, Dale.
You bet.
So with the monopole, these teams, this looks like it's the rescue team, which this is what they primarily do. So they practice and train it, but it's that smooth and efficient movement. So the idea is going up, the casualty's actually obstructing the way up because they're on their safety. So they're having to climb up and then have an idea on how they want to pre-rig to go past him. So they have to create an anchor up above him so they can maintain their connection, then actually come off from their safety climb that he is on, and then kind of move them as an obstacle to get past them and move up. So the fact that they train this regularly as far as the rescue component of it, and the idea that it's what they do. So they were able to get up there efficiently, establish an anchor up there, and then get him unloaded off from his cable climb so that they could bring him down very efficiently and very smoothly. So last year we had a couple of fire department teams or rescue teams that come in, and so he was on one of the teams that won. He has a new partner this year, and so it kind of created some different dynamics from what they had last year. But again, the idea from the rescue side of it, we've tried to create things that no one has a distinct advantage. So we've created rescue, we've created rigging, we've created all sorts of different things so we get the overhaul skill set that we're looking for with tower climbers in the industry and the rescue personnel moving into that environment. So right now, part of the skill and with everything is de-rigging their equipment so that they're ready to go for another call, they're ready to go for another mission. So he's bringing up the tagline they use, coiling it up, trying to preset it for the next group also. You see all the ropes have to come down, and then they will help pre-position or reposition the casualty, the mannequin that we have up there. So we have to get that rescue gear down in order to hook them back up to take the casualty back. So they're accounting for their gear. In real life, this would be where an investigation would actually begin with reports, with what's happened with positions and everything, and then continuing medical treatment and where they're going to go from there.
All right, I'm here with Dale again. We're looking at the end of the monopole rescue, and this is Micah and John. These are rescue technicians.
This is a little different than last year's monopole rescue in the fact that they actually have to create an anchor point on a monopole above their victim. Now, their victim is already hung up on his cable grab, his ascending device. So as he hung up because he passed out, now you have an ambulatory person that can't help him whatsoever. So that's part of the problem. But once they're on that cable and they're sitting on it, there is no way you're going to get him off or unloaded on his cable device unless you lift him up, bring him onto your system with 2 points and disconnect that cable grab, and only then. And that's a slugfest. That's not an easy operation up there because you have to climb up and past to get a high point above your victim.
Right.
Must.
Yeah. All right. I saw a couple of things where he was just having a rough time. And communication is just, I'm not seeing communication between the teams like we've seen in the past. It seems like the communication is a huge part of rope work. We're talking to each other and giving each other clear, consistent cues on what's next, what's coming. And are you seeing it?
A good team already is intuitive about what takes place next, and there's a process and a flow so the communication doesn't necessarily bode good or bad. It's good to hear that communication, but a team like this, these guys have been training forever. And likewise, their toolbox is very robust. They have lots of tools that they can reach to. And so Micah and John, they're sprat technicians. They know how to move around on
and they've
rope.
worked together.
And they work together. Now, what I am, and you point well made, is that you have a medical condition up there. I need to call 911. He is A&O times O.
Which we're not seeing,
and
right.
we're not getting any of that feedback so that we can preempt a medical call and get things in motion.
Good to know.
You know, does he call 911 for the fire service if he's inner city, if he's urban and further out?
Correct.
Who does he call? The sheriff's office? So these are part of your pre-flight plan, your tailgate and your job site analysis for making sure that you know what to do in the event of a rescue, that things happen in a timely, consistent way, orderly manner.
All right, thank you, Dale. Let's go check out what's next. All right, after 3 challenges, here are the team standings. We got team number 1, Micah and John, in first place. Team 5 and 7 are close behind at 28.5 and 28 points respectively. Remember, here at Tower Rodeo, safety is number 1. We still have a lot more to do. And of course, safety violations could affect this greatly. Our next challenge is Over the Edge. It's up next. You don't want to miss it. This challenge is called Splash and Dangle. There are 25 points possible, and the scores are averaged to provide the official score. Each judge will have 12.5 points. The points are based on the following. 1, judges scoring. 2, lifting the bucket without hitting the connex. 3, controlled loads. And 4, safe climbing. You'll receive points for safely going over the edge and back, points for controlling the bucket, points for the ducks staying safely in the nest, and points for controlling the bucket back in place. Points are deducted for hitting the connex with the bucket, and for any unsafe climbing and rigging according to OSHA and ANSI standards. Points are earned for fair, good, and exceptional performance. No points are earned for any unsafe acts or unprofessional behavior. If the challengers reach the time limit and have not finished or yelled done, they will not receive any time points and will receive scoring points accumulated only to the 30-minute mark. Like water off a duck's back. This is poetry in motion when it all comes together well. It's all about teamwork here for these guys. All right, we're here with Russ again looking at Over the Edge. Tell me about this. What are we trying to do here?
So what we're doing is we're kind of simulating working in a vertical environment, but in a horizontal atmosphere. So they're having to work along a horizontal plane, a horizontal platform, and still lift a load up there, transition it across the face of the connex box or the tower or the wall. The object is a bucket of water with a floating duck. Kathy really likes her floating waterfowl. And so the idea is to take the bucket of water up across the face of the connex there, and then there's actually a nest at the satellite dish. And the bird needs to go into the nest. The whole time it needs to be supported by ropes and moved laterally.
Do we have a little tiny harness on that bird? Is that
No,
the
but
deal?
I believe that its safety is the wings, although it looks like it might be floating sideways right now.
All right.
But they do have a harness on the bucket.
And I was told they cannot touch the caution tape.
They have to stay away from the caution tape. They are, as you see, they are tethered as they're moving around as they get close to that edge. And so the bucket can also not touch the face of the wall. They're penalized if it does that. The idea that water will splash out, they'll dump the duck over or whatever. So working on horizontal safety lines, horizontal plane up in an elevated location.
And we've got basically edge protection is how we're using this stuff here, right? I mean, he's repositioning his protection right there.
They're using their fall arrest, so these are using their Y-back lanyards connected up to anchors. So those are connected up to their backs with a shock absorber, so that if they do fall, it will be arrested before they get down too far.
On the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you can see they're kind of measuring their ropes, trying to keep them so that they don't bump and drag it across, and also once it lifts off the ground, it cannot touch the ground again.
Got it. Good stuff. Thank you, Russ. I think clues me in because I was confused about this one from the start. You add ducks and water to this stuff, and it kind of changes your whole perspective on what's going on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Caught some of this, I know, with a guy on the side of the wall hanging and a guy standing next to him handing him his rope and stuff. It was hilarious. But this is an interesting one. Now we caught what's going on here. How are these guys doing? What have you seen here?
So the challenge is one of my baby ducks fell out of the nest. That's not good. He's floating around in the ponds and there's big birds flying around. So I asked a crew to go out there and put the duck back into the nest. So the nest, the duck in the pond is sitting right here, and he's in a bucket. What they have to do is rappel over the side, not to the ground, but over the side, reach over and pick up the bucket. Once they have the bucket, then they need to transfer over here to put the bird back in the nest. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah. Now, what I was asking Russ, because he was explaining this as we went into it, and I was wondering, is there a little harness on this bird?
Oh no, this duck needs to be handled with loving care and kept in the bucket and don't let him get out. So once he gets over there, we place the duck back in, mama duck's happy, then we bring the pond back over, set it down, they have to climb up and out. So they've kind of got a redirect here, so if they would have rappelled down this line, they should have a second line for a second point back
I think
up.
they did, yeah. I think I saw the backup going on there. This was a great competition. These guys, I think, are just cleaning up now. They look done.
I see that they got good engineering going on, good engineering practices. They come off of a hard point anchor that's 5,000 pounds plus. They come up to another carabiner, and then they drooped it down. I saw another team actually tie up high, do a high line. They got out in the middle of it, and the poles. And, yeah, so it's a safety issue, hazard on some of these events. So we timed out on that one.
Let's not go on with that. Let's not find out what happens on that one.
No.
All right. Thank you, Dale. That's awesome. Splash and dangle. There you go. Let's go have a talk with our team to see what their thoughts on splash and dangle are. How you guys doing on the challenge? You think what's standing out for you? Something that's been good or bad? What do you like?
Good. I like all the mechanical advantages and all that. Like we just did the one with the Ronin and didn't drop a duck.
Yeah, Ronin's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's fun. That's a fun one. When you were on Splash and Dangle, right? How'd you feel about that challenge?
Good. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a little intimidating at first. I wasn't sure how we were going to do it, but yeah, once we started getting set up, and it went pretty well.
Yeah.
It's hard to have a plan for each of these as you go in, isn't it? Because they're all very unique in the skills that are going to be used.
Oh, yeah.
What are you finding? Is this educational, or is it just more of getting it done?
Well, yeah, especially like splash and dangle, because then, you know, that's a horizontal. We don't do that on towers.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, interesting one.
Learning.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. You can take some of this home and use it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Good job, guys. I keep it going because this is the last challenge coming up. We'll talk to you in a little bit. All right. Thanks. So we're about halfway through the first day of challenges. Remember, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. The top 4 teams will go to the semifinal round to duke it out for the 2022 championship title. We have a tie for second place with Team 1 and Team 7. It's going to be an interesting close to an exciting day of safe competition. Hey, we're going to be right back, right after a word from our sponsors. All right, I got Doug from Skylotech here. How you doing today?
Doing awesome. This is a great event.
Yeah, it is fun, isn't it?
It is. It
yeah.
really is.
And tell us about Skylotech real quick for those that don't know.
Skylotech is a company that's been around for over 75 years. You know, we're based out of headquarters in Germany, but we've been in the U.S. for about 13 years in Denver, Colorado.
You guys make some excellent gear. I mean, it's just really incredible gear. And we saw a lot of it at the Arizona Hiking Shack, and it's really remarkable stuff. What are you seeing in the competition? What do you like about this? What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, one of the things we try to do at Skylotech is get out to the field to see how the products we manufacture and others manufacture are being used, and see how we can improve on those products and come out with new products every year so that there's more efficient ways of doing things and being safe in the market. We produce and manufacture safety equipment on a global basis, but we do rescue equipment as well, and rope access equipment overall. So that's what all of these guys are using.
And it's interesting to see it used in
real life
in this environment. I mean, this isn't like anything else, really.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's a one-of-a-kind competition, and I think it just adds a whole dynamic to it that you just don't see other places.
I agree, totally. Yeah, some of the equipment that we offer are descent devices, like this product here. It's a serious descent device and spark descent device. We have products that are for ascending ropes that have pulleys on them for hauling situations. Those are unique in the industry. And yeah, we acquired recently a company called Climbing Technologies. Well, it's a brand, Alu Design. They're out of Italy, and we're bringing all that product into the U.S. and Canadian market.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. One of the things I liked, if you haven't seen it yet, let me introduce you to a triple pulley. That is pretty awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of the unique products we're bringing into the market from Climbing Technologies, and there's a lot more coming.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Up next, the Aerial Lift Challenge. This is the Aerial Lift Challenge. To complete this, they have 30 minutes. They have to complete a mobile elevating work platform inspection, secure the site with cones, and challengers must honk all 3 horns. The mobile platform may not contact anything while in the air. There are 25 points possible, and scores are averaged. Each judge is allotted 12.5 points. Points are based on the following: judges scoring, safe use of the platform, and the platform inspections. And let's elaborate on that. They gotta honk all 3 horns. Points for safe driving are allotted and not having contact with anything. Points for the inspection, and each horn gets its own points. The teams will receive a deduction of points for contact with ropes, tower, or connex. And points are earned for fair, good, and exceptional performance, and no points are earned for any unsafe acts or unprofessional behavior. If challengers have reached the time limit and have not finished or said done, they will not receive any time points and will receive only scoring points accumulated up to the 30-minute mark. This is mechanical operation and teamwork at its finest. Let's see how they do. Here we are with the mobile elevating work platform, the MOOP.
Also known as a snorkel.
Or a high lift.
or a high lift, which, by the way, has safety regulations put out by both OSHA and ANSI as how you can work out of this apparatus. Specifically, you have to be attached to the frame on the inside while you navigate the controls. Obviously, being very careful with this piece of equipment because it's got a lot of weight and energy. You can beat into something accidentally and it'll just slam into it with just the touch of a joystick. So you have to be extremely careful with these. Also, you can only get 2 people in this basket, 3 at the most, because it does have a weight limit. I believe it's like 1,000 pounds.
And so the objective here, they're getting it, they can't hit anything, of course. And what are they doing?
So they're tasked to go up and reassess some antennas that are on this tower that they're trying to work for. These are simulated power lines that you cannot touch or bump into.
Right.
You can't touch the tower itself, or you'll lose points. Again, this takes some practice. It's just like any joystick piece of equipment or a toy.
Definitely.
You have to be very mindful of those controls. You can see that he's bumping back and forth and riding up and down. That's just clearly he hasn't had the chance to operate that.
And look at this, he's going into a line, it looks like almost. Maybe he's a little further away, our angle's a little weird.
Further away from what it looks like.
Right.
But yeah, if he touches it, he'll lose points. In real life, if he had a power line, that'd be a bad day. Yeah,
right?
Not happy.
Fried tower worker is never good. And of course, around the corner, what you're not seeing is the top of a 100 or 200 foot cell phone tower display. So all the array is on the tower. He's got to go over there, complete some tasks, and come back. It's really about the safe operation of the platform.
So he does look like he's a little low. I would suggest that he probably picks that up because clearly if he swung to the right, he would be running into his lines.
Yeah, right.
So the idea is he needs to get over here to this antenna.
And be within reach of it. There we have a good view of it, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it's a combination of being in control of your apparatus as well as aware of your surroundings, such as buildings, poles, wires, anything that could cause issues with your snorkel.
And I noticed that none of it, during the orientation for this, none of this is clippable except the actual anchors.
Yes.
In the basket. All right, thanks, Dale. That's it. We're at the elevated platform here, the high lift, and we'll see how they do. Let's see who takes it in this one. This guy looks like he's having a little trouble with the basket. All right, we're going to head back outside and just check in with our challengers. All right, you guys. So you were just on the mobile platform. How'd that go for you?
It went pretty smooth. We got where we needed to be, beat both horns, and got back down safely.
And it's hard to operate in the sense that it only goes so fast, but it has a lot of power. We noticed a lot of sway when you were working on it there. And once you got it down, it started to smooth out, but it's hard to get used to for that second, right?
Yep. You got to definitely wait for that sway to stop before you make another move.
Right, there's a learning curve. Yeah. And for you, how'd that go?
It went great. Just had trust in the partner and had fun. Did a little bit of yelling.
Good. That always helps. And you're having fun at your first rodeo, right?
Oh, having a blast, man.
All right. You guys are in the running right now. We were just looking at the scoreboard, and it's awesome what you're doing. Keep it up. You can pull it out, I think. Okay. Keep at it. Keep it up. Let's get it done. All right. We'll check in with the judges one more time real quick, and we'll be back with more. We're going to the 5th round, I believe, now. Hey, it looks like the new standings after 5 rounds have come in. Team 1, with Mika and John, are starting to pull away from the pack. But we have a very close race going on for 2nd through 4th places. Remember, the top 4 teams will go on to the semifinal round. It's time for everyone to buckle up, focus, and keep safety top of mind. It's not always about being the fastest. Sometimes it's just the safest. Up next is Challenge 6, Tower Rigging. This is a hard one. This challenge is called rigging with capstan hoist. The challenge rules are as follows. Rig and mount a water bucket to the tower leg and tighten with normal specs. Do not spill the contents from the water bucket. 5 donkeys need to be brought down to the water bucket from the water tank and land in the tower safety logo. And all capstan use must be within safe standards at all times with no loads dropped. Yell done when you're done. Points are earned for fair, good, and exceptional performance, and no points are earned for unsafe acts or unprofessional behavior. If challengers reach the time limit and have not finished the event or have not yelled done, they will not receive any time points and will receive points accumulated up to the 30-minute time allowed. This is a staple of rope work, and it just usually doesn't have water involved or donkeys. Let's see how they do. All right, we're at the tower rigging challenge, and we're just getting some input here because we're seeing a lot of things on this challenge in particular. What are you seeing here, Dale?
Well, he's got his hooks and he's progressing up the tower appropriately, but on occasions he gets his safety backups below his waist, down to around below his knees, and he has nothing else attached
Look at
to
this,
it.
yeah.
The other part of the problem is that he has this auto ratchet device that comes across. Now it hooked under one of the foot pegs and back up to the ratchet. Now this isn't going to do any good for him even if he falls, because he's on his lanyards, his backups over here.
Right.
But he should have DC'd this rather than traveling across and around to create a problem later on. Because if he gets in a bind and if he falls on it, this will lock up on him. And then he's pulled and tightened up between two locations. Creates a problem, a safety issue. Here's how many hooks does he have on? One or two?
He has 2.
Okay, he has 2 on a single point.
Yeah, what is that going to do if the point breaks?
So, well, part of that goes into those hooks aren't designed for both of them to be hooked up to the same one. It actually minimizes the effectiveness of those hooks because they're designed to take a fall on one of them. If you take a fall on both of them, they're both connected, then you're actually minimizing the effectiveness of those devices.
On this particular lanyard, this absorber here is your shock absorber. It's built in and should deploy.
And
however, if they're both hooked
at his feet right now,
and if they're both hooked together, it doesn't deploy at that 900 pounds that it's rated for. Now you got 2 of them side by side, it's more like 1,800 pounds. That's a big hit.
And they're wrapped around his legs right now at his feet and foot level.
That all looks like a
So when we start looking at a lot of this, we try to understand, well, what's best practice? What's going to be safe? What's going to keep a guy out of the hospital? Right. So all these tools are to our advantage, but they can also be to our disadvantage
Also
if we don't
looking
properly
at this,
use it.
if he falls where this is hooked up,
It's going to run.
that's sliding all the way down here where there's a potential failure or a potential problem.
And he's going into
So
steel
now
wherever he
we're
falls.
coming up to even a higher fall factor because now it's actually will end up anchored below his feet, a long ways below his feet.
Yeah, right.
So if you have it at your feet there and you have it on your dorsal here, that's 5 feet. So you're going to fall that 5 feet plus 5 feet is a total of
10 feet.
Punch.
Bam.
That's bump, and that's going to be well into the full 1 fall factor, which is torturous.
And the webbing or the anchor point's going to slide another 5 feet. So
yeah,
we've got a little bit of a mess here.
a little bit. They're hurrying too fast. They're trying to get too much done. They're not thinking safety, and they're losing the efficiency that they would have if they would slow down just about.
And he's actually moved to a point where he's standing on single pegs because there are not 2 pegs on that leg. So it's created a lot of
problem about 1 or 2 challenges ago on this as well.
Yes.
What happened there?
Well,
go ahead.
I don't need the whole story because I know we haven't figured it all out yet, but what?
Well, so we have to raise a block up here, a skate block. Well, we're setting it up for a skate block. So part of it starts with a top block down to your apparatus, and that goes through a pulley. Now, ideally what you'd do is to put that a ratchet on the back side of this, so as it moves up, it captures it. That's one place you could put a ratchet. If not there, this is a capstan activity, so you go back to the capstan, wrap it, pull it up, but that capstan isn't a backup either. So they needed to put a pressic on the front side of that capstan winch. Either or is going to work for what I need to see for safety.
The idea for that is if something happens, if something fails, it'll grab that rope and keep your load from failing. If you put it on the wrong side, it isn't very effective.
It's not going to do anything. Right.
So,
all right.
And all these little violations come about because of a couple of things. One, we're in a hurry. It's a competition. There shouldn't be. Slow is fast. Because when you make a mistake.
This one's running right here. We do have the pressic right here so that if we get a failure right here, it will grab. If it's on this other side, as you haul, it's going to lock up and grab number one.
That pressic being this ratchet right back here on that rope.
It's right up to it.
Right.
But now it's just sucked up into the pulley.
Yeah. Is this also something about fatigue on the second half of the day, do you think?
Okay, I see another problem here. What do you see here? See that? That's not a finished 8. That's a improper 8.
So we're seeing a lot of improperly tied knots.
That's a major violation there.
That's something that can slide through with the heavier load.
If that was a shock load.
So part of it is fatigue. Part of it is the difference in standards and training across the United States. Everybody trains a little bit differently, and sometimes the bar isn't set as high as it should be. But that's kind of what we've noticed is there's East Coast, there's West Coast, there's Midwest, and everybody's training a little bit of different standards, companies a little bit different standards. They're not maybe putting as much time and effort into the actual standards that are out there and the safety. And people start taking shortcuts. People start, I've gotten away with this.
Are they being called on something this basic when they're at work?
When we say
on
the work job
on the job,
no.
They're not being called on this
because
stuff.
there's only a couple of them out there.
So even if the standards were taught, he's been doing that all his life like that.
Do you buckle up in your seat, car seat every time? Okay, does everybody?
Yeah, no.
So, and we have fatalities every year. Tower workers, we have fatalities every year. So here at Tower Safety, we're trying to elevate that, one, awareness, and two, the standards that we're trying to achieve each time.
A lot of those come down to not understanding the standards and not practicing to the standards, and they get complacent. They've gotten away with stuff for a little while, and so it carries on.
And some of it is probably old habits. Yep. If you're not noticing a through line here, that's it right there. Bottom line, people go to the hospital, people die doing this, and we got to raise the standards, and that's what TRX is really all about.
A large number of the injuries and fatalities are because people disconnect or their connections fail.
We'll be back with more in just a little bit. Let's check in with our climbers outside and hear how they think these challenges went. On the tower, you guys, how'd you feel about what you guys just did? What was it?
It's day at work, you know?
A day at work. A day at work, and how'd that go?
Pretty smooth.
I'd have to say it went pretty smooth.
Yeah? Now, I just heard you saying to a judge, how bad did we do?
I ask every judge that, how bad we did. It's just one of those things so I can keep track of where we sit in the competition.
Yeah, right. All right, did you at all feel one challenge has been harder than the other or anything? What stands out?
So far, I'd say this one. I mean, it just a little.
What comes up must go down.
Yeah.
That's going to be the hardest one yet.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, that's kind of something we don't really mess with a whole lot, and building those complex systems, you know.
Right.
A little outside the box for us.
All right. Well, good job here. You guys are doing well in the standings, so
cool. Thank you.
We'll see you at the next one. Good job, guys. Go get them. Yep. There it is. A lot of hard challenges, and what they mentioned, what goes up must come down. That one is a difficult one because they're not capturing it above the weight. All right, we'll check out. We're up here next with the last challenge of the day in about 5 minutes. All right, after 6 rounds of competition, here are the team standings for the day. We got Team 1 in first place, followed closely by Team 2 with 54 points and Team 5 with 40.5 points. Team 4 has 38 points. Looks like a lot of folks here got stuck on the aerial lift challenge, and that is a testament to how hard this competition is this year. Hey, we're going to be right back, right after a word from our sponsors. All right, so now we're here with Todd Lambert from Buckingham, and Buckingham Manufacturing has been here at TRX every year, and really great of you guys to come by and be part of this. Are you having fun?
Oh yeah, this is a great event.
Yeah,
Love it.
Every year, right?
Every year, yes.
Yeah, it is
absolutely.
Great. And tell us just a little bit about Buckingham, because you got some of the greatest gear in the business, and give us a little bit about it, please.
Yeah, sure. So we've been around since 1896. Our core business is usually with the utility business, but we do any at-height fall protection. We build everything to the standards, and we are a U.S. manufacturer. So basically anything that you would need at-height safety, we manufacture.
Yeah, and awesome stuff. I mean, we do a lot of it at the shack, and it's great gear. When it comes to this year's TRX, are you seeing anything different? What do you think of this year's competition as opposed to the past years?
Oh, it's good. I mean, Kathy does a good job changing everything up. Nobody knows what to expect, so it's great. I mean, you get a good turnout. A little rainy today, but there's still people here.
Yeah. Does this help you in the industry, do you think? I mean, just looking at what they're doing?
Yeah. I mean, it gives us some exposure to this industry more, all we can get.
Yeah.
It's a good turnout and great people here, so it's awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate Buckingham being here every year, man. It makes it great for the guys. Our final challenge of the day is R&D rigging. This one has definitely been a challenge for some of our teams this year. Tying knots is a lot harder than it looks. Here we go. Let's check it out. This challenge is called the R&D rig. To complete the task at this station, challengers must rig the following. 1. A top block and heel block. A trolley with 3-to-1 skate block. A 4-to-1, a 5-to-1, 10-to-1, 2-to-1 drop, top block and heel block with a 5-to-1 on the ground. The judges will have 12.5 points, and the points are based on the following. Judges scoring: building rigging scenarios, time, and using Prusix. You get points for building all systems, points for adding Prusix, and each team will be deducted points for each system not built, and for not using the Prusix. Points are earned for fair, good, or exceptional performance, and no points are earned for any unsafe acts or unprofessional behavior. The challengers, if they do reach the time limit and have not finished the event, or not said done, they will not receive any time points and will receive scoring points accumulated only up to the 30-minute allotment. This is really the meat and potatoes of rigging. Let's see how they do on this one. It's all about teamwork here. What is it exactly we're looking at here?
So there's a list of several different skills that they're being asked to build with these miniature rigging kits. These miniature rigging kits are just that. They're small versions of everything they have out there on the tower. So they can build everything that they've done out on the tower. They can build with these little kits. They can build with this small gear. We call it the no excuse kit because it takes away the excuse of it's too hot, it's too cold, I don't have enough people, I don't have enough gear. So they can actually sit down here and build every single system that they've practiced today as far as ropes on a desk.
And this is going to be all the mechanical advantage.
We have mechanical advantages. We have different types of rigging on a tower with a top block and a heel block and how they're going to build it and incorporating a mechanical advantage with those top blocks and with those heel blocks. The idea is make sure we have all those components, every piece in there. You can actually get it and see, does this work, does it not work?
Right, and this is also what's in classes at Tower Safety, right?
Yes.
Like, this is the way you learn to do this.
Correct, we build these systems, and again, this gives the opportunity in a classroom environment without pulling out all the big bag full of gear to do this.
Would you say some of the tower guys might not exactly use this all the time, or?
I think that it's new to them, a lot of this rigging stuff. So this gives them an opportunity for them to practice on their own without spending several $1,000s worth of gear. It gives them an opportunity to practice these skills.
Up at height, it's not the time to practice.
If you can master it and build the stuff here, you can do it at height.
It's got to be second nature when you're up there, because you're worried about other things.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to just talk with the challengers, see where they're at in this. You guys having fun at the challenge?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. Definitely exhausted, yeah.
It's interesting stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are you learning?
Rigging, safety, you know, what to hook onto, what to not hook onto, what to use, stuff like that, mechanical devices.
Yeah, you just got done doing the rigging challenge here, right? And how was that for you? I mean, was that something you do a lot, or was that a challenge for
We
you?
utilize a lot of 2-to-1, 3-to-1, picking mounts and stuff like that.
Right.
Definitely realize as you get into the higher 10-to-1 and stuff, you start to lose focus on how many parts of rope you got. So that's like, and then trying to put that progress capture on there is figuring out which one you want.
Where does it go, right?
Where do you want it to hold it?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Overall, is this your first challenge?
Yeah.
It is. Where are you from?
Pennsylvania.
From Pennsylvania. And what's your thoughts overall? Are you having fun? Is it?
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, it's a good time. We
Yeah.
definitely come out more or less just to have fun, and I brought some of my employees to learn some things, so it was a good time.
Good, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
It's definitely worth coming back.
Yeah, right.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
and it's learning. It's
people.
really it's great. All right. Well, we'll see how you did. The judges are going to tabulate everything now. So, yeah, I know you're in the running. So, good job today.
All right.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
We'll
Thank
see you
you.
guys, huh?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And that's it. You know, a lot of this is really about what we don't know for safety, for efficiency, what have you. And a lot of the comments that we see from the judges, from the contestants, is really that unexpected thing of putting them into a situation where they're not sure if they have all the information. They're not sure how to operate this rig or this, this challenge or that. Another thing it's about, safety first, but another thing this is really about for the challengers is what don't they know? What do they need to know? Because just like anything, if you want to excel, you're going to need to know those things that you don't know. All right, so here we are, end of day one at the TRX Championship coming up tomorrow. And what we're seeing, Team 1, earlier today, we were looking at them with a bunch of safety violations.
And they were 30 points behind.
Right.
So they obviously stepped up their game for safety, and they overcome some of their rigging challenges.
In position 2, Team 2, right behind them, and then it drops off a little bit, but right now, a couple of these teams are really going to have to step it up if they are going to get close.
Who's Team 2?
Team 2 is John and James. So they're right there. I mean, they're right behind them. And this is looking good for the semifinals tomorrow. Yeah. What we came up with, it looks like we've got a bunch of teams that just did great, but the semifinals are going to go like this. All right, here's who's competing in the semifinals competition. One of them will become the new 2022 Tower Rodeo champion. Team 1, Mika and John, is in first place. Team 2 in second place with John and James. And Team 6 with Jeffrey and John is in third. And Team 7, Cody and Robert, is in fourth place. The professionalism we've seen today is just great. They're working together, they're helping each other, talking through things. It is a blast to watch these guys work. It has been a tough day, and I'm sure they are spent. I just can't say enough about these teams, the way they're working together, the way they're working with others. It is just a great time. We still have another day of competition to go, and we hope to see all of you back in just a few for the semifinal rounds. This has been exciting, a lot of fun. And of course, nobody got hurt. I'm proud to be part of this. It is fun to watch all these workers at work. Let's give it up to all our contestants who put it all on the line for us here today. Here's who's competing in the semifinals competition. Team 1, Mika Rush and John Birch from Peak Rescue. Team 2 is John Bailey and James Murphy, who placed second last year. Team 6, Jeffrey Sayer and John Hott of STG Communications. And Team 7, Cody Garrison and Robert Moulter from Dan Combs Consulting. So, here's how the semifinals will work. We have our top 4 teams, and they will be competing in the Balloon Toss Challenge. We'll explain more about that in a second. The top 2 scoring teams from that will then move on to the final round, where they will play rope dodgeball. Let's see how they do. Welcome to the semifinals challenge. The 25-foot SSD is rigged with color-coordinated balloons for each team. Each balloon is to be rigged into the mini water buckets and lowered, and then each balloon is tossed from the orange tape into another bucket. It can't pop until it hits that bucket. This is a pretty simple challenge, but as we all know, even the simplest of things become complicated when you add ropes and water balloons. Welcome to day 2 of the 2022 Tower Rodeo Challenge. So, today's all about safety, of course, but we've got some very interesting challenges going, and this is the semifinals. The semifinals will happen in just a little bit. Right now, they're just going through their orientation to make sure everything is safe and all the operating procedures are compliant. What are you saying, Dale?
Well, you know, obviously there's a lot of ways to do the same thing, and tying off to the tower and lowering your buckets with the balloons in it or your tools is one way to do it. If you're moving around the tower, you can certainly pull another sling out. However, we noticed that Micah here is very unique in his approach, in the sense that he's not only supported on the tower correctly, he's also off the top up there, and he's put himself on an ASAP lock. This ASAP lock now is going to be his backup. However, I see some entanglement out there. See how the rope hooks?
Yes, I see.
Hey, Micah, you got a safety issue with your ASAP lock. Can you correct that, please? Thank you.
Right.
And so what he's done is he's put the haul bag on the balloon. Now you can't reach up. He's got to lower it to you. Get your hands out of there. Becoming much more efficient with what he's doing. He's shaking his primary line down on his ASAP lock, which is backing him up. He's also using the little bucket on a tether, which one of my judges doesn't feel like that's necessarily fair. But it's okay with me as far as he is safe. He's got 2 points, and if he wants to put that bucket on himself personally, I'm good with that. That's creative thinking. That's thinking outside of the box. He's not only being safe, but he's being more efficient. So tower safety, we want everybody to first and foremost think safety, but secondly, create a thought process that helps you be efficient throughout your job. You're much more valuable to your boss.
And the other guy?
All right, so now our second guy here on the west side, he's doing good. He's motoring right along. He's rigged real well. He is tethered off on the tower with his lowering device. It's going to be a little slower, but if he wanted to look over at what this team's doing,
you guys
he could easily, quickly change over to that system. But that's a choice. That's all about efficiency.
Can we talk about the lightning that's about to occur? Because we can't be on a tower with lightning, right?
That's right. So we do have a safety issue coming in. So we're going
I
to
haven't
keep
seen one,
monitoring
I haven't heard
the
a ton.
weather in the situation here, because if you look over this way just a little bit, we've got some dark clouds and we're having reports of lightning, and it's a ways out right now, but in 10 or 15
Hey,
minutes
just
it could be
FYI,
coming
guys,
this way pretty
we're
fast.
having a weather front move in, so if we have lightning or thunder, we'll have to maybe consider.
I'll keep time.
So we're going to make it
Alternative.
8 minutes left. We'll adjust the time for the other teams as well on this. 8 minutes, and we may be taking a pause because we do have a safety issue with lightning getting close. Obviously, we don't want to be on a tower.
Good job.
When there's lightning around. Got about 3 minutes left in the challenge. I've got Chris here, who's also a tower worker. What are you seeing? What are you seeing? Are we worried about this lightning? What's going on?
I mean, the weather's definitely going to be an issue at some point. We're in Arizona, so it'll only last about 15, 20 minutes. So I think we'll be able to finish up with no problem.
All right, and how do you like what you're seeing on the tower?
The guys are definitely,
2 minutes.
hustling.
We're at 3 minutes.
Guys are definitely hustling. They're more concerned about the race than I think they are making sure they're following proper procedures. Some of them are getting dinged for that. But all in all, man, they're giving it everything they got, and they're trying to win TRX.
There you go. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Ready, countdown!
And
10,
9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, woo! Good job!
Right there. Oh, he was
Awesome job!
That was awesome. Yeah, he was
right,
running. He was running,
right.
but he almost had it, and it broke in his hand as he was running
so
for it.
Close. That was
crazy.
so fun. This one might be a tie. I'm gonna have to go see what the judges said, but the tossing of the balloons, the rigging, they all hustled up there. This was a tough one.
This was a tough one because we've got about equal balloons, but then we have some safety infractions and a couple of other things that we need to pay attention to, right?
Yes, we do. Make
right.
sure our lanyards are above our back D-rings. Make sure we're tied off at the fall rest, fall restraint, but they did a good job.
We're not going to know exactly until the judges confer, so we'll let them tabulate what they're doing. This looks very close. All right, so now both teams are off the ground. We've seen them just get their gear together as they started. It's not the rodeo start like you see coming out of the chutes for the team roping or something, but it's safe, and that's the point here. Now, both teams have made it off the ground. Of course, the winners of this and the winners of the last balloon toss here will go to the finals, and that's a pretty wild challenge. We'll see how they do. But each team is having the same amount of time. We've got some rain coming in, so that's obviously going to be a factor for these two teams. Let's see how they do.
Yeah, the tower is really slippery.
Yeah.
So it's
That's what I'm worried about.
yeah, it's a well-used tower. So right now, the feet are going to slide a little bit. They slide in the sun, so.
We won't dock them for that, but they do need to be tied off, obviously.
Go, you guys! Come on!
Keep it safe!
Go, boys! You got it.
All right, Dale.
Yes. So what
we're seeing a lot. Hold on. Now we've two teams, and they look like they're both doing great to me. But what exactly are you seeing?
So first and foremost is that we have to make sure that they're connecting off correctly at 2 points. They've had a violation over here on this west side.
Right.
However, they're both neck and neck. They are definitely competitors. They're definitely running like squirrels after the nut.
They are moving more aggressive.
They are moving aggressively. They're actually a little more efficient than the first 1 and 3 team.
Right.
So Mika and those guys.
Yep.
So what I see here is that they're moving right along. Now he's got kind of a skate block set up for his balloons.
Yeah.
That's pretty efficient. These guys just have a simple 1-to-1 where they're pulling it down, which is just as efficient as well.
On the skate block, that doesn't need to be secured with a
Not
stop.
not for small
Small loads
like this. No. Okay. And generally we're allowed up to about 22 pounds to haul in and off of our waist, for instance.
Right.
If it gets bigger than that, then we attach everything to the tower. But they're doing really good. They're very aggressive. I think they're pretty much neck to neck at the moment.
Right. Thanks. Looks like right now we've got about 3 minutes to go, so this is really coming down to it now. These guys are running. Man, we just got done with that semifinals challenge right as the rain started coming. It's just a drizzle right now, but we'll see how we do. Judges are tabulating the scores from all 4 teams, so we'll see who advances to the finals, and hopefully this will pass pretty quick. All right, let's see who's advancing to the finals here at the 2022 TRX.
All right, guys, so obviously we scored points based on how many balloons went in the water, and we based points based on our rigging, and then of course everybody was aware of the deductions they had for safety. So coming in second place, we got Cody and Robert.
Cody and Robert, second place, yes. They'll be advancing to the finals, and in first place.
And in first place, we have James and John.
James and John, there it is.
Good job.
Our other 2 teams, semifinalists. What you're gonna see now is we are going to take a little bit of a lunch break probably. We think the food's just about ready. Great job, guys. Great job. Awesome. Good sportsmanship throughout. That semifinals is pretty crazy. We'll see a little lunch break just because we want to give these clouds a moment to get by before we advance. So we'll come back with the finals in just a couple of minutes. We got 2 of the semifinalists here. What do you think?
A little heartbreaking we didn't make it into the championship, but we gave it hell, and it was a good turnout.
You did give it hell. What do you think?
Coming in blind, ended up in the semifinals for the first year here ever. I'll tell you what, I had a blast, met some great dudes, and hopefully we're invited here next year for the dub.
Next year.
Coming for the win, baby.
Now you know. You're good.
Now we know.
That's it. You'll be back.
We'll be back.
All right. Good job, guys. Good job, man.
Brother.
Yeah, of course, man. You guys did great. Sportsmanship, that's what it's all about. And those guys are hooked, literally. All right, so here I've got Micah and John from Peak Rescue, semifinalists, didn't advance to the finals, but were the champions last year. How do you feel?
I feel awesome. This is a great event, and we love supporting it.
Yeah. This was good. That last competition was intense.
Yeah, it was. It was great. Like I said, I love coming here. You always learn something new.
Yep.
You always see a great group of guys and gals, and we always have fun. It's always fun to hang it out there.
And this is your first year, John, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So
what do you think?
Eric competed last year, and they couldn't describe the production value, the learning experience. So what a great chance to be around everybody and take something home with us.
Yeah. You feel like you're taking home some new skills and just knowledge?
Absolutely. You see these guys that work day in, day out on these towers, and you get a true appreciation for how well they move and the rigors of their job. So it's great for us.
And the tower work is just a little bit different from what you guys do, right? Because you're in the thick of it. Peak Rescue is a all-around rescue agency. And how's it different?
So when we show up to these incidents, something's gone wrong, right? So for us, it's cool to see their side of it, just the work side of it. We've worked on towers before, but not as much as these guys. And like I said, when we show up, usually something's gone bad, and we're there to get them out of a pickle. And so it's really cool to come and immerse ourselves with these guys and see what they do for work and how serious they take it, their safety and their jobs. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it's a very specific skill set, and we get to come watch them work and the ways that we work, and we'll be able to take that home and integrate those work techniques into our rescue techniques and keep the industry on both sides better.
Awesome. All right, Team 1, Micah and John, is now in first place. Just outstanding performance, but they've had some safety violations along the way. Team 2, in second place, is John and James. just struggling for it here, but they are on it. And Team 6 with Jeffrey and John is now in 3rd place. They've really come through here. And Team 7, Cody and Robert, are in 4th place, pretty close behind them. Team 2 with John and James are 2nd place winners from last year. Will they be able to pull it out this year? They definitely are coming into this with an advantage too. And Team 7, Cody and Robert, this is perhaps an upset. They've really got it going on now. I think they're in their groove. Let's see where they get. All right, we need to give a shout out to all the Tower Rodeo sponsors who help make this championship possible. Their support aids us in spreading safety awareness and inevitably saving lives. We'd like to tip our hats to you. Petzl, Skylotech, Beckingham Manufacturing, Elk River, Ronin Lift, Rescue Tech One, Kong USA, Perfect Vision, Tuffelberger, Tower Safety, AHS Rescue, and ASK Tower Supply. You all are helping to save lives, and we thank you for it. Thanks for coming to the Tower Rodeo. John and James, our 2nd place winners from last year, are here at the semifinals again today. Can they finish what they started last year and take home the prize? Let's find out a little more about this team to watch going into the semifinals.
This is James Murphy.
And this is John Bailey, and we are competing in the Tower Rodeo this year. John and I have been working together for going on four or 5 years now. Our team is Niner Empire Desert West, repping the Niners out here because somebody has to.
Last year, when we competed and got 2nd place, we did different things, as in rescuing a dummy off the tower, relay races. No matter what we do, whether it be in competition or on the job site, me and James are always communicating with each other and the other crew members that are on our site. If you don't have the communication, you don't have a good working functional team. To me, I think communication is essential. And no matter what you do in life, communication is the key to success for anybody.
Yeah, good luck, be safe, and we're gonna bring our A game, so
bring
they need
yours.
to bring theirs. Watch your back.
So we're back with the finals championship here at TRX 2022. And it's taking a turn for the weather. It's coming down. We love it here in Phoenix, but this challenge is going to be added a little slippery factor to it. And it's a good thing because we don't have to change what we were going to do as the finals championship at all. The teams don't know what they're up against for this next challenge and haven't known each challenge until they're going into it. This last one is going to be competitive, and this could last 2 minutes or 20 minutes. We don't know. But let's see what these teams do with it. We're going in to the wet finals here at TRX 2022, the 3rd annual Tower Rodeo Challenge in nice and rainy Phoenix, Arizona. We'll be back in just a minute with the finals. All right, we're at the finals challenge, and it's called Rope Dodgeball. Basically, this is dodgeball and don't step on your rope. These are the playing procedures. Play will begin with 3-on-3 challengers. No substitutions will be allowed once a game is started except for injuries. The game rules are as follows. The objective, of course, of dodgeball is to eliminate all the other players on the opposing team by throwing one of 12 balls and hitting the opposing players below the shoulders on the fly. 2, each team starts with 12 balls, evenly spaced on the center line at the beginning of each game. It's a sprint to the 12 balls once play begins. Play begins on the referee's signal of go and dodge after the grace period. Number 3, a player is out if they step on a rope. If they get hit by a ball thrown by the other team, players can of course use balls to block balls, and if they hit another player above the shoulders, or if they cross the center line. A player is not out if they get hit above the shoulders. We have a stall count in this game. No player can hold the ball for longer than 5 seconds. The penalty is to roll the ball gently to the other team. The opposing team is responsible for calling the stall count. They call stall 1, stall 2, get to 5, then the ball must be rolled over to the other team, or the player is out. And once a player is out, they must be outside the line. Let's discuss the playing dimensions. The short line is the center line for the dodgeball tournament. Points are earned for fair, good, or exceptional performance, and no points are earned for unsafe or unsportsmanlike conduct. Of course, stepping on a rope is a bad idea when you're trusting your life to it. This event is meant to drive this point home when the players are under fire.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Dodgeball!
Guys, yeah. Don't step on the rope. Don't step on the rope.
3, 2, 1. It's a block.
It's a block. Get over it, John. It's a block. Yep.
Oh! Oh! Out! Out!
That was a handicap fight.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Come on, get him, get him, get him. We're here at the Dodgeball Championship at TRX, where we're having more fun in the rain than you should be allowed to have. Oh, this is looking good. This is good. Whoa!
Oh, you got more balls.
Yeah, I didn't hear a count. You're gonna have to count. It's a block. It's a block. Nicely,
Yeah.
he blocked it.
But he stepped on the rope.
Oh, he stepped on a rope. We have a winner. Ladies and gentlemen.
Swap sides. John, swap sides there.
All right, we're swapping sides. We're going the best out of
Of
three.
the first round.
Best
Swap
out of three.
sides. Let's get our balls back in action. All right, players ready? Players ready? Dodgeball!
Go, go, go!
Hey,
oh, oh.
Micah,
Oh, oh,
you gotta
out,
go back
out.
to your field.
John,
Take
you're
your
out
balls.
over here. John, you were hit, you're out.
Nope, John's
Oh,
not
within
out.
the 5-second rule.
No, but
Dodgeball!
he was at the front.
All right, dodgeball, dodgeball.
You watching the line
Oh,
over here?
got some good leads here.
Okay.
Oh, there's a block.
Good job.
Nice block. There. Oh, a duck and another sidestep. Oh, ow! And out.
Oh,
Watch those feet, judges. Oh, we have a winner for the second round. Swap places.
We're tied.
We've got 1-1.
We're tied right now.
1-1.
Any balls over there? Sorry. No? All right. Yeah, 5 seconds.
Yeah. So you got to get back. Grab it. Boom!
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Hey, you have to hit them below the shoulders.
Yeah. Got to keep an eye on Micah.
All right.
Hilarious.
Behind the line.
Watch out, Micah
Behind the
spikes.
line, remember,
He's a spiker.
no hits above the shoulders. All right? Remember, you have a 5-second. Come in, grab your balls, get out. I'm going to change that now. Another twist. We're down to 3 seconds, and I'm going to count them off before you can throw a ball, because we're seeing too many weird balls right at the beginning, and the ones you're holding. So,
All right, I'm not.
and, ready? Ready? Dodgeball! 2, 3, go!
Oh!
What a hit! Out! Out! And out! We have some champions! That was awesome!
Go.
Well,
Thank you.
I don't know about stepping on ropes, but they did play dodgeball.
Yeah, it was a good job done. I think that that third person in was a game changer. I saw they took on one of the team players there, a spiker.
Yes.
He even ran up to the line, and the first thing he did was spike his opponent. Wait, you can't do that.
Put the rules down.
Yeah.
I don't think he was here
That
for
was
the
awesome,
rules.
yeah.
But that was good. They got
That was
good
awesome.
challenges. Good play, guys. Excellent job here
What a
at
spiker.
TRX.
Yeah.
We're going to
Boom.
come up to the last awards ceremony, and I think what we'll do is probably take this inside because we're all getting soaked and we're holding electronics. That would be me.
Kathy Gill is the owner and operator of Tower Safety here in Phoenix, Arizona. She is one tough cookie. I've known Kathy for 8 or 9 years, and I can tell you from personal experience that she is a force to be reckoned with. And I can't say enough about her for just putting safety at the forefront of this industry. But don't take it from me. Let's see how it all started for her.
Oh, let's talk about Kathy.
When you look for somebody who's your go-to person, when you look for somebody who is the pinnacle of that business, you're not just looking for that person with the technical knowledge, with the business sense. You're looking for the person who is driven beyond making a buck.
A force of nature. She has put this industry on notice that there's a new cowgirl in town. She's definitely got people noticing that she's a good go-to source for information and education.
Tower Safety started in 2013. When we had a construction company, I was noticing the safety needed a little more assistance. And so I got more involved with the guys and started a training company to involve more hands-on practical training, because that's really what these guys are, is hands-on. And I moved to a small crane yard called Stafford Tower Crane. They allowed me some space to allow the company to grow in safety training, and slowly I was able to build my safety training that I have today with 8 cell towers, confined space, a rock climbing wall. I even have a new Sedona area to practice all our knot tying. So it's been evolving throughout the years. So what moves me in the industry and what drives my passion are the people. There's some awesome men and women that come through my class.
I've only known Kathy going on 5 years, and she's a total sweetheart. This is an awesome facility that she put together, and it's really a cool place that you can come and learn and really dig in and make sure that that stuff's solid in your brain.
Kathy Gill, to me, is one of the top women in the industry that actually came up with a great idea to put a facility together to train people so they don't die and teach the buddy system. As she's teaching you in a classroom, she will tell you to make sure you watch out for each other. I've been to other training facilities to where they're just all about sitting in there, doing their little book work. Kathy will take you outside on the tower and make sure you got it drilled in your head what you need to do to stay safe to go home to your family at the end of the day.
These guys are 200, 300, 400 feet in the air, or you take the broadcast guys, which are coming to the Tower Rodeo. They're up 1,200, 1,800 feet in the air where they're seeing the curvature of the earth. They're pretty awesome.
Her drive and performance in this really shows to anybody that takes the time to look at what she's doing. As Dale would say, is a force of nature. I think that's a great way to describe her in the tower industry. And now a word from our sponsors at Petzl.
All right, I'm here with one of the major sponsors of TRX here. This is Bill Moore from Petzl. How you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, this is a fun challenge.
Oh man, this is super awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be here and support this event. It's super fun. So Petzl is a French company. It was started by a guy named Fernand Petzl. It's very much like Yvon Chouinard for Black Diamond and Patagonia. Developing his own gear in his garage for caving in the 1950s.
Yeah.
He was going out of the deepest caves that anyone ever gone to at that point in time. And that gear could be used and utilized for other people. And they eventually got to doing rock climbing, trail running, headlamps, because you're going to a cave, you need to lighten up that world. you need to have the best headlamps possible. You need to have the best gear to get out of there, right?
Yep.
So you get in the sport world and leisure, and all of a sudden, like all these fire departments are starting to use it because they're rock climbers, and they're like, well, I could use this to save some of my patients. So the rescue world started using it, and then it just evolved from there. Where rope access and doing inspections on dams,
right.
tree care, people trimming trees, and trying to be safe up there and do their job, and it just evolved. And Petzl's really, really heavily involved in all this technical world, but also we're doing, fall protection for like just general industry. So the cell tower industry kind of marries both of that really well. Rope access is being used a lot more in the cell tower world. People are using fall protection. So the harnesses that are really lightweight, minimalist, you're not going to feel it while you're using it. You're going to come down at the end of the day and you're going to have tons of energy because it's, you're using something that's just basically as minimalist as possible. It's very, Petzl. There are products that have been designed by Petzl that had a certain application, and then someone else said, we can use that. And then they say, all right, fine, we'll do a technical solution that recommends that, and then we will develop something that makes it even just a little bit better
for that application.
For that application.
Right.
So it's like the demand is creating the product. So that's why we come to these events like this, so we can learn from the industry. We can give feedback to the manufacturer and the engineer, so they say, oh, you know what? This is a solution that's going to help people do their job more efficiently, safer, come home at the end of the day to their families, and not destroy their bodies, right?
Yeah.
So
awesome. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate
problem.
your input. I'm really glad Petzl's here. Thanks, man.
John.
All right. After an intense rope dodgeball matchup, we have a new winner here for the 2022 Tower Rodeo Challenge. Cody and Robert from Dan Combs Consulting. Give it up for them. I mean, they came from nowhere in their first challenge here at the TRX, and just a blast. Good to watch these guys work. And we want to thank all of our teams who participated in this year's championship. John Bailey and James Murphy, who placed second. In third, Team 6 is Jeffrey Sayer and John Hott of STG Communications. This has been a really special year. Every year, it seems like you step up the game, Kathy, and with all the help you have, you just pull it off so well. We're all really thankful. Give it up to Kathy.
We really appreciate all the input from all the teams that came this year and last year and the year before, and we look forward to seeing all of you again next year. Also, this wouldn't be the event that it is if we didn't have the sponsorship support that we have. So again, to those sponsorships, yeehaw! Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year at TRX. Congratulations, we have our finalists, Cody and Robert here. Man, excellent job, guys. What are you feeling right now after being in the winner's circle?
Feeling great.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Did you have fun at the competition?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
She threw us for a bunch of curveballs that we weren't expecting to get tossed into, and made it as difficult as she could for everybody to make sure we could perform.
Is this anything like you were expecting? You came all the way from Michigan. Was this anything like you expected when you were headed out here?
No. We kind of prepared for everything that we ran into last year, concentrated on those, and then implemented none of that into this year. So
Kathy's good at that.
She did it. She did it very well.
Yeah. What was the challenge that you really had to overcome, or is there one?
I would say the over the edge one. One back here on the container kind of got us thinking outside of the box a little bit more than normal. Yeah. Having to use our ropes in different manners or things that we don't normally do on cell phone tower stuff, right. Specifically. So definitely got our brains out there, had to really push it and see what we could come up with to make it happen.
You're just not moving horizontally much.
No.
Right. Does that compare at all to what you are under in some of your situations at work?
This is more nerve-wracking than climbing a 1,000-foot tower.
Yeah.
Even though we're only 10 feet in the air, it's still, the competitiveness of it, and knowing that the other competitors are out there as well.
Right.
Is more nerve-wracking.
Well, you guys overcame a lot here, and I just want to congratulate you personally. It was great job. Thanks for being part of TRX this year. Excellent job.
Glad we could make it.
All right.
From the winner's circle, there it is. Cody and Robert stepped it up. This year has been a ton of fun, and if you work at height, you should be here next year. We look forward to seeing you next year here, and from the crew, myself, from Kathy, here, everybody here at TRX that makes this champion so special, and just a great learning experience for everybody, highlighting safety in the workplace, but also just bringing you a unique competition that you just won't find anywhere else. Tower safety here, the telecommunications training facility, Kathy, everybody involved, just bring it on home. And they're doing this year round here at Tower Safety. So look at towersafety.com for more information, and we will see you next year at TRX 2023. Thank you for joining us, folks.